All right, you bunch of yahoos, strap yourselves in for another episode of Dan and Don's Toxic Masculinity.
In other words, shut up, sit up, and pay attention. Anyone that hits 50 years and above, they're automatically classified as that senior citizen. So it's kind of like going, now that you've got a decade of being this senior citizen underneath your belt there, first off, how does it feel? How is your body held up? And give some people, some of these listeners, an insight as to what it is to be a senior citizen.
Look at Dan act like he don't know.
Well, no, I'm looking for verification. That's all. I already know what's falling apart on me. So
Anybody that's been through what you guys been through, plus pro wrestling, my hat's off to you, because I know how my body feels, and I just turned 60. I feel like a 95-year-old man, and all I'm getting lately, I always say fake this and fake that, and all I'm getting lately is fake body parts here. Yeah. So I don't know what the hell's going on.
well, Brian, just so you know, I mean,
get a face next time.
Yeah, you've heard Don's heard me say this on a couple different podcasts when we're talking with professional wrestlers. I always carry only two belts with me. I always bring the NWA professional title belt with me, and then I bring one of my UFC title belts. Everyone, they all know what the UFC stands for, stuff like that, because of the popularity. Then they see NWA and like going, well, what's NWA wrestling? I go, it's just like what you see on television. And they're like going, but they'll say, oh, you mean the fake stuff? I go, well, I go, you know what this belt over here is all about? And they go, yeah. And I go, why is it then I've been hurt far worse in this industry than I have been in this industry? And they're like, really? And I go, yeah. I go, and I'll go into a little bit more of the story at that point in time. But the reality is, and you know this, taking those abundance of bumps, that's one aspect of the career, but putting your body into somebody else's hands and praying that they do the right thing on your behalf.
Yeah, so. and one of the stupidest things me and SAG ever started, it was the street fight matches back in the day. They weren't hardcore, and you're talking about when they weren't, gimmicking the tables. We were getting hit by trash cans that were cast iron and stuff that you shouldn't be using. We were using, and that definitely put a toll on my body. That definitely did. But then again, when we got trained, they told us to go to school. And at the time, George the Animal Steel is the one we were bugging. And he sent us to Vern Gagne's camp, which was trained by Brad Reagan's. So for 3 months, we never saw a wrestling ring. It was all Olympic mats. And Brad was training us like we were Olympic wrestlers. And I was like going 3 months and no ring alone. I didn't sign up for this. I'm getting tortured over here, so, but a lot of good people up in Minnesota, and Brad actually taught me right. And Don knows Brad very well. I know you do too, but Brad's the real deal. Nobody can mess around with Brad. He has a bronze medal for, in 76 Olympics, and then they boycotted the 80 Olympics, but in 1979, he beat the Russian for the gold in the World Games. So, in any
10 times tougher than the Olympics.
Yeah,
it is. The world championship's 10 times tougher than the Olympics, because you've got 20 guys coming in out of Russia, and we're in the Olympics. In the Olympics, you only have one guy from Russia.
Right. So, but you guys been through all that. So the way we got trained both, because Brad was definitely strict on the training and getting in shape and all that. And, we turned out the way we did. Plus, we were crazy guys, barroom fighters from Pennsylvania. So that helped too,
Well, I mean, again, you when you talk about that, because I went through some training with Al Snow originally, a gentleman by the name of Denny Castle, who was introduced to me. I pursued it very, very aggressively, even to the point that I ended up I bought like 4 ring posts off of Al, and basically I was there with my clipboard, tape measure. I basically just took all the measurements off of the ring he had there. Within a week, I had my own ring built, because whatever they was teaching, I was emulating back at my training facility here in Coldwater, and then I'm just looking for more and more. I need more, because I was kind of in between a rock and a hard place, and I needed to make some money. But then putting all this work and stuff like that, I still remember that first payday I got $15. I'm going, oh my God. I just did all this, invested all this time, effort. I made $15. I'm like going, I spent more in gas money than I did.
We were the Florida Tag Team Champs, and we got paid 20. So
spread it around there, fellas. Spread it around. Yeah.
Right, exactly. And then when you wrestle for Jeff Jarrett's dad, Jerry, and Jerry the King Lawler, every Wednesday was Evansville, and that was $50. You wouldn't get any more, no less, no matter what the crowd is. But the best time was that Monday night in Memphis. That we did the TVs, but it worked every day, and it actually taught you the business. Because you were wrestling every day and you're learning every day. You're learning, and that's what you need when you're, a younger wrestler. Is the more times you get out there amongst the fans and do your thing, hey, that makes you better. And, it definitely, we picked the right choice by picking the right school. And we got trained. It was Vern Gagne's camp, and Brad, he trained you the right way. And I still call him up. He's still my coach. And then it's so funny because when I talk to the Iron Sheik goes, I'm the coach of your coach, because Iron Sheik helped Brad back in the day, when they were in Minnesota together. You know what I mean? So it's all funny. It's a big family. You know how it is.
Well, Iron Sheik also came from a legitimate amateur wrestling background there as well. So, it's that's what I do with my guys here. They don't start off in a ring at all. They start off inside of a wrestle mats. They actually have to earn the right to actually go into that ring, and they'll practice all their bump and stuff like that on mats, and they'll practice, doing body slams and things of that nature on crash pads. A lot more forgiving than what the mats are. And then after they've done that, they have to pass so many blue mat matches before they can, jump. I should say they graduate to the actual ring, because running ropes, taking turnbuckles that's a whole lot easier, I think, on the body than knowing how to wrestle. And that's what the marquee says. The marquee still says professional wrestling. Give us a little bit of wrestling there every now and then. Not all this flex, and talk.
Well, me and Sags were the first ones, after we went down to Tennessee. We had the spandex on and the wrestling tights, and Lawler said, you guys call yourself the Nasty Boys, but you don't look like it. You should be more street and this and that. And first thing me and Sag thought was getting sweatshirts and covering our bodies up, because we didn't have that great body. We had big arms, but the rest of our bodies didn't look that great. We were just barroom fighters from Pennsylvania, And our good friend was Matt Millen back in the day. And,
Hey, is this going to be a long story?
Four Super Bowl rings, brother. And he was our reference. He's the one that talked to Brad and got us into,
Matt Millen, the football player?
Yeah.
Oh, he played for San Francisco, didn't he?
He played for San Francisco. He played for Oakland, and he played for LA Raiders. He won two with the Raiders, two with the Raiders, one with San Francisco, one with Washington.
What's he doing hanging out? What's he doing hanging out with somebody like you?
Well, the thing was, he was neighborhood, and my dad and Sag's dad knew him very well, and we were getting in a lot of trouble when we got back home after I was out of the Army and Sag was out of college, and we were getting in a lot of trouble. So our parents had him call us down and said, "Hey, you guys are going to be going in jail if you don't straighten up." And they said, "Miles, why don't you try that pro wrestling?" And we went, that's a good idea. So me and Sag bugged George the Animal, and he had Jimmy Snuka and Paul Orndorff and Bob Orton Jr. to stretch us, but we were working. So I said, "I'm sorry, Mr. Steele, but we can't make it over there." And he said, "Well, if you're really serious, you'll go to Vern Gagne's camp. That'll either make you or break you." And he wasn't lying. And we lived on the bottom of Brad Reagan's, and Don knows, the bottom of Brad's house. Yeah. So our car broke down. There was no way we were getting out of there anyway. So we started with 22 people, and me and Sag are the only ones that wound up to be, to stay. And it was worth it, man. I loved every minute of it, and I still do. I'm retired now, but all the fans coming up to you, and saying, hey, I remember you when, and this and that, and teaching their kids about us. We did something right in the wrestling business, because the fans, I appreciate all the fans coming up and coming up and saying things, and it really makes you humble in the heart, and I went through all these health problems the last 4 years, and everybody's been on my side, and all the thoughts and prayers from all the fans, and I thank you very much, man. The fans of pro wrestling are the best. That's all I can say. They stick behind you.
Yep, they sure do.
Hey, how about the best damn sports show?
That was funny.
You came out there. Yeah.
I waterboarded the guy. Yeah. He didn't like that.
We tortured that poor reporter.
He did not like it. So what kind of health problems you got besides the ovarian cancer?
Oh, you're such an idiot, Don. Why you'll never change. No, it's just all stuff. Besides the injuries from the pro wrestling ring, just regular stuff, like everybody else has. When you get older, you got to watch your weight. You got to watch everything. So, getting old isn't for sissies. That's for sure.
Yeah.
You got to just handle it and stay positive and keep going, man. Willie Nelson's a good friend of mine. He said, you slow down, you go down. So you got to just keep on rolling. And he's rolling at 90. I'm 60. I can just keep on rolling too.
Well, I want to, instead of going fast I want back for a second. You may have covered this already, but you and Skaggs, I mean, did you guys already go into this knowing that you want to be a tag team, or where did you meet each other at?
I know Skaggs since we're 10. We played Little League baseball together. So we grew up together. We're high school, we're middle school, we're Little League, so I known him for 50 years. So
wow.
He's been that close of a friend. Yeah, he's been that close of a friend of mine. And no, we didn't think we would get in this tag team, because usually they put a veteran with a young guy. But for some reason, they stuck us together, and we both did. Like, I was in the Army.
Nobody wanted to be with you. That's why.
Well, he took O2C in college, so we wanted to go with this name, the Mercenaries. And then Donna Gagne went out with us one night, Greg Gagne's daughter, and said, you guys want to call yourselves the Mercenaries, but the way you guys acted last night, you acted like a bunch of nasty boys. And me and Sag went, well, that sounds like a good name. And that's how the Nasty Boys were born.
Really? Oh my God, that's great. I mean, it made sense.
You see how my head's in front of, see, I always block out Sag. See?
Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah. I noticed that, you weenie.
Sags is there. He's just hey, thank you guys for having me on. I appreciate it.
No, we ain't done yet. Are you quitting?
No, but I see Don's look. You look like you're ready for a foot massage or something. The way you're leaning back there with your cigar out of your mouth.
Well, come on over here and give me a foot massage, you bitch.
I haven't said, hey, it's been a while since I seen you. I think one of the autograph sessions, and Dan, Don's always been a good friend of mine. Oh man, we're talking almost 20 years now.
Yeah.
Okay.
But,
I'm sorry about that. I mean, it's I did think that you could get better people to hang out with there.
Fuck's sake, look at it.
And I met you, and you always had such respect for me and Sags every time we met each other, and you always been a first class guy, first class gentleman, and thank you for having me on your show.
Yeah,
I see. I said your show, not Don's show.
Oh wow, I see. Yeah. No,
I didn't want you on. He forced me to have you on.
Yeah.
I don't want that fucking animal. That guy's an animal.
No, again, it's just a lot. I mean, especially in the last couple of years, the world has changed so much in this last couple of years, right there. All this COVID crap that's been taking place, where people are not gathering in the groups that they have, but it's the electronics, all the laptops, all these cell phones.
Yeah, then they have that Brian Knobs lookalike on the Bud Light can. It's it.
Wow. Ooh, I'm sensing a match coming down the road here right now. I think we need to get a match here right now. Yeah.
I am retired. I'm telling you. After it was so funny at Rick's 70th birthday, which was about 4 years ago. Sags was talking to Jeff Hardy, and they get big ankle up, and they came over and they said, "Yeah, I was talking to Jeff, and it'd be us against the Hardy Boys." And this and that. And I looked at Sag. I went, "Are you crazy? I mean, you guys." I said, "You must really be on something good, because there ain't no way I'm getting back in the ring. I can't barely walk right now, let alone get in and have a good match. And I'm not going to go in and have a good match."
I get it. I mean, it's better just to simply say, been there, done that, and just move on in life,
Yeah.
Which, I mean, what do you preoccupy yourself with today? I mean, what's the day in the life of now for you, Brian?
Well, just actually out there signing up grass, trying to get back to working out again. That's a big one, because you got to work out no matter what anybody says. And I was never big on that, but definitely, you got to have something, keeping the blood flowing in your veins, and keep on going with the smile on your face, and you're trying to stay positive, because negativity don't bring anybody nowhere. It just brings you down. So you got to stay positive and say, "Hey, what's next? What's the next thing I can do?" And I do a lot of charity work for different organizations, and I like doing that. So it's a good thing. I mean, it's very positive, when you're get put in a spotlight like that, and then over all the years you did something right, because people still remember you no matter where you are. That makes me feel special. But I always have to give back, and I learned that from a lot of good people. Hulk Hogan was another one. He's one of my best friends, and he always tells me, stay positive, always do something for other people, always be willing to give that extra mile, and say thank you to everybody, so that's what I'm doing these days.
Yeah, well, again, those are some most common basic characteristics that kind of been lost these last few years, when people are being isolated. They don't know how to interact with people. They don't know how to be nice to each other. They're basically tearing each other apart behind the safety net of a laptop, so
yeah.
It's
well, you know what? It's crazy. We're old school, we are, and like me, just getting on this Zoom, and that I was making sure we got it right, because I don't know the first thing about these phones. Every time I get a new one, it takes me 3 years to find out how to work it, and then you need a new one.
Phone. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
nobody goes out to just play football or baseball and just go crazy anymore, because we never used to be on. Now it's all about the phones, and
yes.
that's the way life's changed.
Brian, when's the last time that you've heard any young people talk about the Presidential Physical Fitness Award?
No, nobody.
That was something that, I mean, I'll bet it's been at least a couple decades since that topic. There used to be a cool thing.
Brian's got a dozen of those laying around his house.
But it's that. But that, I just say that's all part of that. Go ahead, Brian.
No, I got to go. I was going to tell Don, I got a couple of old Crown Royal bottles I have hanging around that I have memories on top of them. So.
Usually after you finish a bottle of Royal Crown, I thought that helped to erase memory of things,
Well, it does, but if you keep the bottle, it brings things back. You know what I mean? Like, I remember.
It's got a little tooth chip in it. It's got some cracks and some hair.
Right, exactly. Hey, you don't get the name the Nasty Boys for nothing.
Well, again, very, very, very marketable on all fronts here. I mean, like I said, I was kind of surprised that you'd never done any singles matches, because typically a lot of tag teams, when they come in, they look at an angle to separate them, and then they go off into do their individual matches. But then somewhere down the road, they kind of reunite somewhere. I mean, there's always, I'll just say, in the professional world, you learn this. There's always some type of drama that's taking place, that you're single and you go back to into tags, or if you're a heel, somehow down the road you saw the light and you go back to being the baby face, or vice versa.
Because Mike, Hawk, he'd always take he'd always take singles matches, you know, he'd work against Flair and things like that. It didn't bother him to do the job, you know, shit. He understood the business.
No, and I did, you know, me and Sag, they would split us up before the big match. We'd always go wrestle. Either I wrestled Brett on his own, I wrestled Hawk on his own, you know, to build up for the big tag team. But at the time when we were wrestling, they had a lot of great tag teams, from the Demolition to the British Bulldogs to the Hart Foundation to the Steiner Brothers. I mean, to the Rockers, to the Harlem Heat. I mean, the list goes on and on. And we wrestled everybody. We even wrestled Davey Boy and Dynamite over in Japan. And, you know, Japan's this whole different dog when you wrestle for New Japan or Giant Baba. And when you first go over there, you don't realize how different it is. And, you know, we went over with our style and got over. You know what I mean? And just like when we got to WCW, nobody wanted to wrestle the Steiners because they said they were hurting people. So they said, hey, would you guys wrestle the Steiners? We said, sure. And you know what? We had our best matches ever with the Steiners. They became awesome friends. They're still great friends of ours. And, you know, even though I put them down because, sorry, Dan, but Michigan boys, you know, I always have to steal them about the Penn State, you know, and Michigan rivalry. But that match in Halloween Havoc that we had in 1990, that's the match that got us to the WWE. A week later, Vince called us. Hulk called us first and called me and said, Vince wants to talk to you about bringing you in. And I thought he was bullshitting me. And I said, oh, yeah, right. And then 5 minutes later, Vince was calling and asking if we would like a job up there. And that was the best decision of our life, because as a pro wrestler, and I told everybody that, your goal, no matter what league you're in, it should want to be one day be at a WrestleMania. A WrestleMania is our Super Bowl, and if you're there in a championship match, right? You know what I mean? But you know, WrestleMania was the thing. So Vince definitely got planted. You know, gave us the belts right when we came in there, and it really, I mean, that defined us being who we are. You know, actually winning the WWF World Tag Team titles against the Hart Foundation at WrestleMania 7. And now I think they're up to 40. So that shows you how old I am.
Wow, nice though. Nice. I mean, again, that's incredible crowd. But when you talk about the Japanese crowd, though, Japanese crowd is kind of a different type of crowd. They're very astute, and they don't make as much noise as what American crowd does. But
yeah.
But you'll hear them like all in unison. You'll hear them all go, oh, all together, something like that. I mean, they're
yes, right.
It's like they're almost like studying the match a little bit more.
And so, but you know, it's a good experience for as a wrestler going through that, because you get all, you know, even wrestling in Germany or in England, you know, they always have you know, different styles. I mean, you know, Billy Robinson was over there training Brad, you know, helping train Brad, and he would kick the living crap out of us. He never had no, you know, he cheap shot you when he had to, and he knew what he was doing too, you know. So I don't know what kind of amateur status he really had over in England, but supposedly he had a pretty big, Billy Robinson had a pretty big amateur status over in England, I guess, you know.
Yeah.
And he helped Brad train us a lot over there, and he was real mean. So.
Well, again, that's where I first met Billy Robinson when I was going to Japan for the UWFI organization. Both he and Lou Thez. So that's where I met both of them, and I found out more about his lineage. And so I just knew that he came from like a bit of a shooter background, is what I was told, but I never really had a chance to watch him do anything. He would just basically talk to the athletes and show a move every once in a great while, you know.
Right. So, but Brad always had the really, you know, people that came over, and I had God bless his soul, God, my head, we're having a brain for Brad training for, he won gold in Blatnick, Jeff Blatnick. I gave him shit at the interview. Oh yeah, I gave him shit, and he was hiding in Brad's like Brad had a sauna down there where the ring was, and he popped out there. He was throwing me from ring post to this post, you know. I had to run out of there because I gave him crap at the interview at Vern's deal. Vern had him on, and then Brad and him had it all set up, bring him out, and then he was going to stretch me, and stretch me he did.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. Good. Yeah. Jeff got me a good stretch, but after I was done and I was by the door, I still had last words to say because I knew like all I had to do was run to the bottom of my apartment and lock it. So I knew he couldn't get in there.
Wow. Always good to be planning ahead. That's for sure. Planning ahead. Wow. Jeff Blatnick. Yeah, that's I knew Jeff rather well. I think he was from the New York area, and well, I was on a couple different teams with him in training camps as well. So
yeah, good guy. You know, but Brad knew all these guys. He would have all these guys coming in, and looking at us. Just different kind of training, but it really did help us out big time. I mean, I owe Brad my career, and I still talk to him all the time. I still call Iron Sheik too. It's always funny when I call Iron Sheik. He knows it's me. So, I still, all these guys that are my friends, I still try to stay in touch with everybody. So, and that's a good thing because there's nothing like good friends in this business.
Oh, but it's kind of tough though because a lot of them changed their phones so much. I mean, I used to have that Rolodex or that little black phone book, and I just found out real quick with wrestlers, I can't write it in ink. I have to write it in pencil because their number's going to change next month, or 2 months down the road it's going to change again. It's like going, geez, how do you keep in contact with people with their phone numbers changing like that? That boggled my mind.
Well, usually the guys I have still have the same phone number, so I haven't changed mine. So usually the guys I talk to, I still have the same phone numbers. And if they change it, they update me. But most of the guys I still have the same phone number. So, yeah, believe it or not. And the ones I could save that I didn't lose because I don't know what I'm doing with my phone, I got to get a new phone again. The top half don't work. So I was worried that I wasn't going to be able to get you guys on this FaceTime, this Zoom call. So, I had to try it out before time, but it worked out good.
So you still got a flip phone?
No, I don't have a flip phone, Don.
You said the top half didn't work. So.
Well, no, but the top half of my phone, I got a Notebook 8 Galaxy, but I got to get a new one. But I'm dreading that because you know how that is. Then they try to teach all the new stuff and whatever. And I barely know how to run this one now.
So how you guys? I mean, what's SAG's up to nowadays?
Sags is doing this thing. He's general contractor down there, and that's what he used to do before. So he has a little business down here that he does, and he goes out on these autograph signings with me. So that's what he does nowadays. But he takes on a little job, does like the remodeling and stuff, and then he does the autographs with me. So he's doing good. Nice. He's doing really good.
That's good. Again, I was actually a little hesitant because I kept thinking, well, did I miss something in the very beginning of the interview? That because sometimes you hate to, you can start getting to a certain age, it's kind of like you hate to start bringing up people's names because you just don't know who's around still or not.
Right.
So
I know, especially in our business. Our business is a tough business, especially back in the day, we were going 300 some days a year, and and if you didn't wrestle, you didn't get paid. So we all wrestled. So we all did our thing back in the day. So, but we loved it. I have no complaints.
There's a lot of people that don't understand that, like what you just said right there. Each morning you're waking up, and as you're rubbing the sleep out of your eyes, you're looking around, like going, so I was like, okay, where am I at today? And what is my function tonight? I mean, I knowing that you still got you got another match, but there's sometimes like going, you're in another hotel room. And then it's like, what city am I in? I mean, that's where I literally live out of a planner. Just to know what's coming up next, just so that I can stay somewhat organized.
Yeah, I try to stay organized, but I'm not too organized myself. I need to get one of them planners, and I miss. everybody gave me crap about my fanny pack, and I missed my fanny pack because everything falls out of my pocket nowadays. So it's like, what the hell, you know?
Yeah, Dan still has his.
Yeah, Don gives me shit about my fanny pack all the time, you know.
Hey, Don, the reason you don't really have a fanny pack because you have nothing but your chew or your dip in your pocket usually. That's about it. I don't know. Are you still dipping?
No, I just smoke cigars. I don't dip.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Well, you're looking good, Don. I must say that.
Always.
Dan looks better than you, though. Hey, Dan looks better than you do, though.
Yeah. Well, okay, Don's. Did you have your mascot there, Don? Did Brian get a chance to meet Quinn yet, or no?
She's sleeping. She ain't gonna wake up for him. Are you kidding me?
I see. Oh boy, yeah, that's Don's number one love. He's got his pooch, Quinn.
His pooch.
Yes.
We have our last one we had was a little Maltese, and I miss her every day. Her name was Cutie, but she used to sleep with me. And there you go, yeah. And then I used to have a Rottweiler called Elvis. So, you know, we had all mixes dogs around here, you know, but none lately. You know what I mean? So, but I miss them, you know. So it's everything's going good, you know. But man, I really appreciate you guys having me on. Thank you very much. You know, I knew it was you guys, so I had to try to fix it some way so I could get on here, you know. So I said, I got to go in and say hello to them guys, definitely, you know. So
you're a technological genius, man. You're just amazing. Hey, who is the best guys you all worked against? You know, worked with or worked against? And who was the worst?
Well, you know, there's so many like Heart Foundation, Road Warriors, Steiners, British Bulldogs. I mean, Harlem Heat, the Rockers, they were fabulous. You know, that was back in the AWA days, but we wrestled against so many great tag teams and got so mentored by so many fantastic people. You know, we were definitely blessed to be honored by the mentors we had, you know, even guys like Adrian Adonis, you know, I mean, guys that ain't here no more, Roddy Piper, like I said, they're 1 in a million, them guys, you know, and Jimmy Snuka and, you know, Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair. Are you kidding me? We wrestled against Rick and Steamboat and Sting against me, Sag, and Rick Rude. Talk about a special match. That was a real special match. I mean, to be in there with Ricky the Dragon and Ric Flair plus Stinger. Oh man, what awesome. And then we had Rude on our side. So, you know, there was no worries there. I had Sag and Rude backing me up. So I could do almost about anything because, you know, Rick could handle his own out there too. Good old Rick Rude. So nobody messed with him, you know.
Now, who came up with the spot with the armpit shit, man?
You know what? Adrian Adonis kind of hinted that to us when we were driving down the road with him. He said, "You guys are nasty boys, and you know, you always say nasty, but you're not doing nothing nasty. You should take some guy's face after he's been laying there and shove it in the other one's armpit and this and that." And we said, "Oh, that's pretty good." And then Piper told us to do it, you know, on occasions. Don't do it all the time. And then we started doing it, and it caught on, and then people were calling for the armpit. That's a stinky, nasty situation, Don. What can I say?
You have to give me extra money for that one, boy. Sure.
The pit of despair. The pit of despair. Is there anything that you want to push, like for
I'm going to be at SICW in St. Louis this Saturday, Fan Fest, and all the guys are going to be there. It's in St. Louis. It's a SICW and Fan Fest, and they're having matches on after that. But I know a lot of the guys are there. I think Demolition's there. Just a lot of you know, the legends that everybody goes to see, and it's so wild, Dan, because our era just sticks out. The Hacksaws and, you know, the Jake the Snakes and the, you know, just the different guys, $1 Million Mans, IRSs, you know. Like I said,
all phenomenal. They're all phenomenal characters. They were very unique. So in a lot of different ways. Well, what if people want to try to contact you, do you have like an email address, or is there a website that people, if they want to book you for something? I mean,
yeah, they could go to Nasty Knobs, what is it? Jesus. No, Gmail. nastyknobs@gmail.com.
You got one or
one B.
You got one B?
One B. Yeah. So, but if they want to call us, yeah, they just leave me an email or something. I'll get back with you for sure. You know, okay. And that instant messenger thing works pretty good too. I actually know how to work that. So that's how I got a hold of, I think her name was Lori from you guys. She asked if I'd be on your show, you know, and I said, oh, sure.
All right.
But I wanted to get in the studio, but instead I'm right here.
Yeah, we're going to have Ken Patera on next month, I think.
Oh, yeah. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
He's a good, we known him for many years. Yes.
Yeah, he helped. He come around.
He was a crazy Minnesota guy. Yeah, crazy Minnesota guy, Don. You know them people in Minnesota, you know, and Michigan. Because I wrestled with Steiners.
It's just really unique there. All the people that you mentioned there with out of Minnesota there for like doing the training and that with you. So it was you know, Brad Reinigens, because I know that was a Don's trainer there as well. So it's Brad really did that.
And Mr. Perfect people. Well, Mr. Perfect was our mentor, and Mr. Perfect was the biggest ribber ever, and he pulled a lot of the ribs, but we got blamed for him. But you know, that was Kurt. You know.
Yeah. Kurt was ribbing himself.
He shaved off Ric Flair's eyebrow. They blamed me, but I think he shaved Ric Flair's eyebrow off. I still got to have a Fuji investigation on that one.
he would rib himself to get a rib on you, you know. He would.
Yeah, exactly. But thank you guys again for having me on, man. I really appreciate it.
Well, Brian, I think it's been fantastic having you on. I mean, like I said, I haven't seen you in a while, and I'm hoping to bump into one of these fan festers.
Wait a second. Who'd you like work for better, WCW or WWF?
Well, WWF was harder, and they actually established us. They actually put our name. That's why people remember us. But we like WCW too, because WCW was more like an NFL football contract. Yeah, you got a contract. You didn't have to worry about it. With Vince, it was a no money contract, but you did get paid, and especially if you were in a good spot in the card, you know, you got paid very well. So, you know, WWF by far was definitely a better company to work for, but you worked your ass off a hell of a lot harder you did with WCW, because we were just back and forth from Atlanta, and with WWF, we were all over the world. And it was, like I said, 300 days a year, double shots on Saturday and Sunday. But you knew that's your job, and you went out there and had fun, and that's what we did. So, you know, I can't even believe I'm still here at 60. Seriously, Don, you know the way I used to live. Please.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
but I'm still here, and I'm still smiling.
You crippled me a couple of days.
We always have a good time when we see each other.
Yeah,
I didn't see you for a while, so I can't wait to see you. I think you're coming up. I think you're on one of these autograph sessions I'm doing in July or something. I think I saw your name on there. And Don, I didn't see you for a while either. I think I saw you maybe at a WrestleCon or something a couple of years back.
Yeah, there's the love of my life.
There he is.
There's my girlfriend. Yeah, there's my girl. Yeah, I saw you in New York, right?
You know what? She looks better than you.
You're damn right she does. You're damn right she does. If I was this good looking, I'd be king of the world.
That's it. Oh God. But you guys look good, both of you. And like I said again, thanks for having me on, man. I'm gonna split. It's been a couple of crazy days, and I just want to tell you thank you again for having me on. And you know, I'll come on again. I'll come on one time with Sags.
Yeah, bring Sags. He's
more interesting. We'd like to catch up with him as well. But again, Brian, been fantastic having you on. I'm gonna put that out there one more time. that if people are looking to book you, go to nastyknobs@gmail.com. Did I write that down correctly?
That's it.
Okay.
That's
But
it.
no,
With
been
been
a real pleasure having you on here.
N-A-S-T-Y-K-N-O-B-S. Hey, thank you for having us on. You are the two champs right there, you and Don. You kicked your ass, and you kicked plenty of ass in your day. I know that.
It's there's just people that I'm genuinely interested in trying to find out people's different stories of how they got involved in the industries and how it came about. But again, it's like you and Skaggs, you simply knew what you wanted to do. I mean, to know someone from 10 years of age, wow, that's incredible that you guys have been knowing each other for that long. Does he live anywhere in your same area, or
he's about 45 minutes away from me now. He used to be on Treasure Island, but now he moved over by Sarasota. But no, he's down here too. He was at my birthday party. When you get me and him together, you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, well, again, but that's great that you've had that kind of camaraderie for that. That many years. That's fantastic. But Brian Knobs, it's been a real pleasure having you on here this evening, and we'll definitely make sure that Tony puts up some type of things at the end, and just so folks can find out a little bit more in case they want to follow back up and book you for something else.
Well, thank you, Dan. I appreciate it. And Don, go to hell. I love you. I love you too, Don. You know I do. You're my brother.
See you there,
You're
Bud
my brother
Light.
from another mother there, Don.
See you, Bud Light. Picture boy.
My wife's even yelling from the background. Thank you for having her husband on. That this way, she's away from me for a couple, at least 30 minutes anyway.
Give her a break.
30 years of marriage and still going strong. What can I say?
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
No problem, darling.
All right. Well, take care, then, Brian.
Hey, you guys take care and stay nasty. Bye. Use SOBs. I love you.
Thank you for watching another episode of Dan and Don's Toxic Masculinity. You better like, subscribe, and share, or I'm going to come to your